Okay. What's goodies? What's poppin'? Holla if you need a dollar. Today I want to make a video about red flags and like kind of avoiding them, especially when you're dating. You know, for all my little girly pops and my just my people going through this world. I just wanted to give y'all some advice slash validation that I think we all need at times, because I think, you know, especially when it comes to dating, like dating is hard. I've been chronically single for so long, but I'm not in like a rush to be with somebody. Thank God. I could say that about myself. I'm not in a rush. You know, if it happens, it happens. I hope it happens. Honestly, I'm not like wishing for it not to happen, but like I'm not. I know for me, I don't want to put myself in a predicament where I'm going to be miserable. So I just like, if I start feeling that it's not going to work out, or I'm seeing things that might lead to that direction, I think most times I do accept it. So that's kind of what I really want to touch on, because I just had a recent dating experience where I was talking to this guy. We only met twice, right? We didn't really go on any like dates. It was kind of like a Netflix and chill kind of situation. Wasn't intentional for it to be that way. Like, I promise, we were supposed to go on actual dates, and I think it just, the red flags just came up for me a little bit like premature, and I was just like, ooh, like, I don't know about this. But essentially what happened was, like, for the most part, for why I decided that I didn't want to talk to this person anymore, it was just like a lot of miscommunication happening, and on my end and on his end, like both of us for sure. And because I don't want it to be like, well, it's him and he, you know, whatever, and he should have done better, he should have done this. I'm not trying to point the finger in that kind of light, because I think it takes two to tango, and a lot of times, you know, there's always a reason for somebody to react a specific way, right? But it still doesn't mean that somebody can't have red flags, or me can't have red flags, or whatever. We all have our issues. So the kind of miscommunication that kept happening, though, was just like, was so weird to me, because I would just talk regular, and then he would just get like really upset, or take it like really personal, right? We were still supposed to plan a date, and before I talk about the playing of the date, he wanted to like meet up where I lived, and I don't know if he wanted to come to my house or something. I wasn't sure, but it kind of like insinuated he wanted to come by me or stop by me. I don't have the capacity to host people. I do live by myself, but like I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I recently just moved, and not recently, but I'm trying to get my space together. It's just not together. There's way too much bullshit going on in my personal space where I lay my head. It's just a lot. It's a lot, right? So for me, I just don't want to take on having somebody in my space right now, in my personal space like that. That's just how I feel. That's just what it is. And maybe it's a red flag for me to still think I should date people, but like I don't think you should be going on dates to people's houses anyways like that. I think you should be planning things out. Hold on. To sneeze. Shit. Right? So he wanted to hang out. What the fuck? It's always when I want to make a video. He wanted to hang out. I just wasn't feeling it. I felt like shit that day too, and I felt like shit. I just wasn't feeling it, and I was like, you know, another time, whatever. I'm gonna go to my mom's house, whatever. And I called, and I talked to him later on that day, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym, blah blah blah. I'm still home. He's like, oh, you're still home? I could have came over. And I was like, no, like, it just wasn't the vibe, blah, 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 blah. And, like, his tone kind of changed. And I was just like, are you okay? Like, are you, like, what happened? And he's like, oh, like, you know, I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to be, like, essentially on your dick or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, no, like it's just not like that. I just don't. Not like that's. I'm just not. That's just not the thing I want to do right now. Like, you know, it is. That's just how the best I can explain it. Like, I can't word it any other way. Like, my space right now is just not available for me to have people in it. It's just not. It's just, like, I just want to leave it at that, right? So, but we're gonna come back to that. So we start planning the actual date that we were supposed to go on, and you know, I was like, okay, like, let's do it this week of October, blah 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 blah, and this day should be fine. I'm off that day. We could work something out. So, like, a day before, 2 days, I was like, okay, like, do you want to do this? You want to go to the movies? No, I'm going to do this. Go to see this movie, whatever. So, okay, movies are out of the question. So, like, the day of, so I'm like, whatever, we'll figure something out. It doesn't matter. It's like the first date, we could, you know, we just need to meet each other, essentially. Like, I'm not, like, too hung up on going guns blazing on the first date. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it doesn't have to be that, like, the whole intention of the date is simply just to get to know this person. So we ended up just coming to the conclusion, okay, like, let's just meet at the park, whatever. The park's in Brooklyn, and he brings up a park. Oh, like, we could go here, and the park kind of threw me off because I was like, a park, but I was just, you know, I was like, I was expecting a little bit more, but, like, I'm not, like, I'm okay with it, but I just that's not what I was expecting. But that's fine. Like, it's like, I'm okay with going to the park. I'm not, like, on that level of, I don't do park dates. I don't do coffee dates. Some people are like that, and they're more than fine to have that standard. I just thought it would be more like, but, like, okay. So I suggest, okay, like, well, that park is next to this park, and I do like that park. I've never been to this park that you mentioned, but I've been to that park. And they're, like, close within each other. This is still in Brooklyn. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to call you later when I'm about to get off work. And I was kind of aiming for 8 o'clock. Now, I get off work at 8 o'clock. So my expectation is we would be on our way to the destination at least, like, by 8 o'clock, 8 and change, whatever. At least 2. And I'm already in Brooklyn. Right, that's the catch for me. I'm already in Brooklyn. I'm way closer to the destination than he is. He's all the way in Long Island. He's in, like, Suffolk County, whatever. So it was like 7:50. I texted him. I said I was gonna call, but I texted instead, and I said, hey, did you start to head out? And he's like, no, I'm heading to my brother's house or something like that. And I was like something started ticking in my head. I was like, you're heading to your brother's house, or you're at your brother's house? And I'm like, are we supposed to be going somewhere? So, like, why, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, I wasn't comprehending that. And at that point, I was kind of like, I don't know. I had work 7 o'clock in the morning next day. So I was just like, I don't know if I want to wait for you to be ready to officially leave versus we could just reschedule. So I just texted him, hey, do you want to reschedule? Because I just didn't know, like, because I'm like, you're saying you're going somewhere else other than that. We decided that we were going to meet, and it's already inching towards 8 o'clock. So I'm like, I think we should just reschedule. But we didn't have to. That's why I asked, did you want to reschedule? Then he said, he goes off. He's like, oh my God, I knew you were going to do this. I had a feeling, blah, 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 blah. And from the other day when you doubted me and all this stuff and carrying on and all this. And I was just like, well, like, why was that your reaction? Like it was simply a question. Like, I'm not, and I don't know, maybe I'm just gaslighting, and maybe I'm just a master manipulator at this point. Right? But I wasn't expecting that reaction. Like, really, I was like, oh, like, because I'm like, you told me you're somewhere else other than where I thought you were going to be, or at least headed towards. So I was like, oh, like maybe you got caught up, maybe something happened. I don't know. That's why I asked for the reschedule, because I had a feeling that it just wasn't gonna be the day. I was just like, all right, like you're you know what I'm saying, like you looked like you had something going on, and I didn't want to stay up all night to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So like I was like, all right, we could just reschedule. Like, not a big deal. We can reschedule. And if he was like, and this is the part where I was just kind of like, okay, if he had said something simply like, oh, I'm going to here, but I could be there in X amount of time or something, then I'd have been like, okay, cool, like no problem. I could wait for that. But it was just like the reaction was such a turn off. Oh my God, you're a cornball, blah 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 blah, all this shit. I was just like, whoa, like this is a little bit too much, buddy. This is a little bit too much for me. And I was like, let me call him. Let me just try to clarify so that there's no confusion, there's no mixed messages, so that, you know, because at least like if you call somebody person to person, you can kind of sort a lot of things out. And I was expecting, at least with our call, like, okay, like it doesn't have to be rescheduled. I just want to know like what's the ETA, like what's the timing, because I didn't really explain that I had to get up early, right? So like I said, with this whole situation, like miscommunication on my side, on his end. Like I'm not even, you know what I'm saying, because I don't want to drop something simply because it's like something off happened. Like, you know what I'm saying, like I at the end of the day, I'm trying to give this situation a chance, blah 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 blah. So I try to call, he doesn't answer. I call again, he doesn't answer. So at that point, I leave it alone, I pack it up, I go home. And mind you, I had my things, I had my clothes in my car, my change of clothes, all this stuff. It's because I was like, as soon as I get off work, I'm going to that bathroom, I'm switching up, and I'm going to get ready. Because I already showered and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll be ready to go out. Didn't answer the call, whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm going to leave that alone. And then he hits me up the next day. And then he's like, oh, basically my bad on last night, whatever. I didn't answer until like later on that day or like a day later. And then his next response was like, oh, so you're going to ignore me? And I'm like, bro, like I just can't deal with, I just don't like a jump to conclusion basis. So, and I'm already over that situation, and I'm at work, and I have to like collect myself and like really think about how I'm gonna, you know, take on this situation or communicate my issues. Because, you know, I call back and we finally get to talk, and you know, I was basically like, you know, you don't just shut people down or people out because you're upset, basically. And it's like, we're trying to work something out and like, you know, figure out what we're gonna do and schedule something, blah 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 blah. It's definitely just not, and not like, I'm not saying this in like a scolding way, I'm just kind of like telling the situation as it is, because you can't just shut down a situation or shut it out because you feel a way and then you don't want to communicate your grievances. At the end of the day, like, we have to communicate with each other to be able to meet in the middle and come to a compromise that's going to work for both parties, right? Like, I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but I hope I make sense. Right, so he kind of agrees, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. I think we're in good terms, because I kind of brought up the communication part. And I called my friend too, because it's like, maybe, you know, like I always ask for a second opinion with these things, because sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure if I did the right thing. So I was like, let me ask for a second opinion. So I asked my friend. My friend was like, definitely miscommunication on both you guys' end, and, you know, left it at that. But she's not super into dating right now, so it's just like, I don't even like bother her with that stuff. I'd be bringing it up. She'd be like, oh, that shit again. But so like I decided, okay, cool, like we can talk again. Like, I'm not ready to write this off, like misunderstanding, miscommunication, whatever. But eventually we did meet up, and I went to his house like a week later or something, and we hanged out. We tried to watch a movie, but I fell asleep. I was tired. But it was cool. It was a vibe. So officially met. He seemed really nice. Like nothing like off like that. And we did we start planning the next date? I forgot what happened. But we just talked in person, and he seemed chill. Nothing, crazy. And then he invited me over one time, and I wasn't available at the time. I was like at a friend's get together, and I was like, I'm really busy right now, but like I could come later. And like miscommunication, and he's like, okay, cool, like, and I'm like, do you want me to still come? And I was like, yeah. Oh, these people drive crazy, bro. He's like, do you want me to still come? And blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yeah, cool. So I go, and then I was like, hey, I'm here. And then he's like, oh, like I meant for tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay, because I did not interpret it as that, but like I'm already here, so like, do I go home? You want me to go home? Like, what's gonna be? I don't know, because I'm already there. Because I'm thinking I was gonna go after like I left my friends get together, but he said that's not what he meant. Blah blah blah. And like it's okay. Like I definitely misread it, so like I'm not gonna sit here and put that on him. But I was already there, so I was like, okay, cool. Like, I go, like, I don't know. So we just hanged out. I spent the night there. I go home, and then a couple days pass. And if this story seems awfully long and long-winded, leave me alone. I'm trying to tell it the best as I possibly can. But we didn't meet up for a few days or nothing, or we talked like here and there. And one of those nights, he texted me like, hey, like, I forgot what he said. He's like, I want us to hang out or something, or like something along that lines, or like, I want to come by you or something like that. And like I said before, like I don't really like my space. I'm not hosting people, whatever. So I just interpreted it as that. And I was just like, oh, like, we could, like, meet up somewhere. Because I didn't want it to be like, oh, like, you can't come see me, or, like, we can't do anything, or we can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to definitely was like, let me move the goalpost over here a little bit, because I don't want it to be like, let's meet at my house. So I was like, because it's just not wave. But I was like, we could definitely meet up. We could definitely go out. Like, we could get food or something, like, for sure. Like, we could see each other, for sure. Like, I'm not against that. But we end up on a FaceTime, like late at night. I was on a FaceTime with my friend. We were working on something. And then he called me. I didn't answer right away because I was, like, on another call with my friend. So I was like, oh, I can't answer that right now. Calls him back. We're talking. Very basic conversation, nothing crazy. And we started talking about like spaces, and he's like cleaning my room, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I need to clean my room because like I'm just like not in like a good headspace right now. Like my mind is just everywhere, and it's like reflecting, like my space is like reflecting on my mind. And we were kind of having that conversation of like how does your mind look in certain spaces? And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely like going through it because my space looks like shit. Like you could clearly see like a very disoriented mind, right? So I'm thinking like we're having like a conversation related to that, and I was thinking he was gonna understand why, I'm just not super into like inviting people over my house right now. Right? So like I ended the call like, yeah, sure, like I would definitely like have you come over my space, but it's just not ready right now. Not anytime soon, but like for sure. And I was like thinking that's playful, thinking that's cute, whatever, like we're like, banter. He gets mad again. He's like, why would you sit here try to play my face after we just had that conversation? Blah, 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 blah. You think I'm on your dick? All this shit. And I was just like, what? Like, visually very upset. And I was just like, oh, okay. I just like again, I'm like, the man is too stunned to speak. Because I kept thinking to myself, like, what did I say for you to be this upset? Like, what? Bro, I do not know. I wish I could tell you I don't know, right? And I was like, I just was just getting the impression that he just thinks I'm trying to like sun him or something, or be like, oh, haha, you're on my body, whatever, like. And I'm just like, no, like I'm just being genuinely honest. Like this, like it's just not like, I just don't feel comfortable right now, like doing that. And we could still hang out, like we could still go places and things like that. Just like my house is just not the wave. And I'm like the reaction just completely threw me off completely. Right, and then he brought up something that kind of made me definitely click, because he had a situation where he was mad with a friend, blah, blah, blah. They did something, or asking for something, and then when he was explaining that to me, he said they didn't even say thank you, right? And then he was bringing something up to me. He's like, I'll let you in my house, I invite you over, all this stuff. You were in my space, blah, 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 blah. You came all the way in the night, and I still let you in, da, da, da. And you didn't even say thank you. And I was like, and at that moment, I felt like you were doing the same thing that happened with that friend to me. And I was just like, and I don't like, I wouldn't necessarily know if this is pattern recognition, but it was like the same language where he was just like so upset with that person. And I'm just like, that he was just so upset with me. I'm like, ooh, like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like, that's just not. So he hangs up. I call back, try to like explain whatever. But he just was like a little defensive, and I'm just like, I just don't know how to deal with that, because I don't. And I also don't like people that are like overly sensitive. Not to say that I wouldn't hang out with somebody or be friends with somebody, but like if you're like, you're sensitive, you should also be able to communicate what's like triggering you, or like, or making you feel that way. Because I'm sitting here thinking I'm like, we're having regular casual conversation, and then you just 180 flip on me, and then you get so mad, and I'm just like, whoa, like that's not okay with me. Like the first time I let it slide, but like I can't keep giving the benefit of the doubt, especially when I just started to date somebody. Like I can't keep doing that anymore, whether it's people I work with, friends, or like just dating. I'm not gonna give 100 benefits of the doubt before I come to the conclusion that this isn't gonna work between us. Like I'm just not going to do that. And I just felt at that point, okay, like I just didn't need to. I just don't want to deal with that at that capacity, especially like if I just started to talk to you, we're not even like a little bit over a month in, and you're getting like this, or you're getting really upset, and like it just doesn't make sense to me. So at that point I just decided, you know what, I don't want to touch this person anymore. I just came to the conclusion this is not gonna work. So at that point I said, fuck it, we not talking. So the next morning they hit me up, Hey, hope you have a good day, whatever, something. I don't respond. Hits me up again. I think that bring up if like I'm ignoring them or something. I don't respond. The next day, hits me up again. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy your day, whatever. I don't respond because at that point I decided this is not for me. It's just not. That's not how I want to communicate with people. That's not how I want to share my issues of when I'm upset, especially like if I'm angry or annoyed at something. Like I just don't want to like come at people in anger or that level of frustration, because it's just not healthy, especially when you're trying to build a relationship with people, whether it's friendship or dating or whatever it is. Like you want to healthily communicate with people so that they don't have to feel uncomfortable, or you don't have to make them uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like vice versa. And then a few days later, oh, is this how you're gonna do me? Blah 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 blah. You was at my house and all that, and I let you in. Blah blah blah. So now I started to feel like vindictive, and I was just like, still not responding. Calls me late at night. I don't answer. Leaves me a voice note. I hope who you end up with, treats you well and da da da, and that you're happy, blah blah blah, something, and that's gonna be the end of it. Calls me again, I don't answer. Leaves me a voicemail, wow, leave me a text message, wow, that's how you're gonna do me, blah 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 blah, X, Y, and Z. And then calls me another time. I'm on a trip with my friends, and I'm like, yo, this is actually kind of crazy, right? So at that point, it kind of only vindicated, like it definitely made me feel vindicated in a moment, because I was like, whoa, like my discernment actually kind of like kicked in like with a rapid speed, and like swooped in at perfect timing, because like when I felt like I didn't want to talk to this person, I knew in my heart that there was a reason, right? And not even on some bullshit like, oh, like your body, like you just like know, you feel it, like, right? Because I'm just like, there's no way I said something to this man that was gonna make him react this way. Not especially if we're talking for only a couple fucking weeks. Like, what could I have possibly had said to like make this person this way? So it definitely just like validated my experience when I decided that I didn't want to touch this person anymore, because I just knew that it was not gonna be it. Like it just wasn't gonna work the way I thought it was gonna work, and like I already felt the way about the person, because just like the reaction to how they handled specific things just did not sit well with me. Like I don't like to handle situations like that way. I am huge on person-to-person communication. Like, if somebody feels a way about something, I definitely feel like people should talk about it and work out their differences, and not like be angry in silence, because that doesn't get anything solved anywhere, and I just don't like, it just doesn't do anything, right? So for me, I was just like, well, like I felt super valid by doing that, and I was just like, okay, cool. I know I did make a mistake with that one. So I say all of that ranting to say this, because there's a conclusion to this video. Is you have to, certain things that you do, you're gonna have to be able to stand on business, right? You're gonna have to be able to understand what your standards are. Actually, let me move. You have to know what your standards are. You have to know what you want out of life, and what you want from other people, and what people should expect from you. Yada 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 yada. Right? You gotta know all of these things because you don't want to end up in a situation where you're unhappy with somebody and you're like coming to the conclusion like, damn, what did I do? How did I get here? Like, why is this like that? All of these things, right? Oh, these person, is he parking? I wanted to park in the front. You want to be able to. People park so bad now. People park so bad. People park so bad. Oh my god. Yeah, but like I said, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're unhappy. You're just not in an ideal situation, and it's just not what you wanted it to be. And a lot of times we see the signs very early on. And I know I'm chronically single, and it's like, oh, whatever, you don't want to take advice from me, chronically single person. I can tell you one thing. I felt like I dodged a big problem just now. And I'm not trying to be cutthroat with dating, but I'm trying to set a standard for myself. I don't want to explain my standard every single fucking time that I want to talk to somebody. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Right? Because the first time I explained my issue, whatever, how I expected it to be. The second time, okay, like, why wasn't any of that, like, applied? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to be like to put like everything on that person, but it's just like when people have like reactions like that specifically, that ain't no red flag, bitch. That's a red light. That's a red light. All right. So you need to stop your ass in the road, and you need to do a 180 U-turn and take your ass somewhere else, because that is not where you need to be. Right. And I'm not that lonely where I can't just stand to be alone. I'm good. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the video. I do wish the person the best of luck. I hope that they can really learn more about themselves and really kind of like articulate themselves in certain situations better. And and I just definitely want to definitely improve on my side too. Like, I want to be better at communicating too as well, and also kind of just like being more like outgoing and things like that, and also like just taking more chances. But that's gonna be the end of the video. Just bottom line is just like, don't put yourself in a situation that you know you're gonna be unhappy. That's just the basis of my video right now. Like, I don't think that I would have been happy in that situation. Had feeling like I had to walk on eggshells around somebody. That's just not what I want to do. That's just not how I see myself being in a relationship. So therefore, I will not put myself in a relationship that I'm seeing the signs that that's going to be it. So, end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.